going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts video. Today for you guys, I thought we'd talk a little bit about Kingdom Hearts Union Cross because, my dude, it's been a hot minute, a spicy minute since we last played Union Cross. And not really just even played Union Cross, but did content about it, just talked about the game in general, did any sort of news and information towards the game. It's been a really long time, and I've been sort of looking around my YouTube comment section as well as Twitter and stuff, and there have been a few different questions here and there with you guys actually asking me, Cynical, where is that Union Cross content? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about Union Cross today, talk about why it's sort of been on a hiatus from the channel in the ways of content. I actually do have like a few points on the screen in front of me as of right now, and I think really it's just going to come down to the obvious sort of reasons as to why I have sort of veered away from Union Cross in the past. If you guys have been watching my content, but more specifically if you guys have seen my content talking about Union Cross and sort of the negatives towards it, and sort of those negatives that weigh me down as to why I sort of dip in and out of this game. My relationship with Union Cross, it is kind of like love and hate. It's sort of like I'll get into it for a bit, I'll absolutely love it, and then I'll just get absolutely burnt out and I just cannot do anything else with the game for a while. So that brings me to point number one. The reason why I haven't been playing is simply because I have been burnt out, and this seems to be always like the main reason as to why I step away from Union Cross for like X amount of time. It generally always just comes down to like the repetitiveness and sort of the grindiness of the game. Now, I don't mind grindy games. I play actually quite a lot of grindy games and have played grindy games throughout the years. I like me a good grind here and there. However, though, the contents of Union Cross is more so repetitive than really anything else, and because it is obviously a mobile phone game, doing grindy based stuff for mobile sort of games really to me isn't really all that sort of entertaining. Whereas if I'm grinding on something like a AAA title game on my console, or of course on my PC, I'm going to enjoy the experience a little bit more. Of course, this all just comes down to personal preference, but I just think that the contents of Union Cross, as much as I have to say kudos to Square for, updating this game here and there, adding in new content drops and new modes and things to do, that's always really cool. But I think with the content that is currently available on Union Cross when looking towards the VIP quests, then you do a little bit of PvP, then you do a little bit of Union Cross multiplayer, it all really boils down to like the same thing after a while. And that really is the biggest reason as to after a while I actually have to step away from the game because it just becomes too repetitive for me. Now, moving across to point number two, and I feel like this point is extremely important, especially for a Kingdom Hearts enthusiast like myself. Story updates are so scarce. Oh my god. Now, I understand that this Kingdom Hearts game is a little bit different to other Kingdom Hearts titles, right? Our usual Kingdom Hearts titles generally release on a console or like a handheld system, and they contain a decent amount of story, all that yada 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 yada. This Kingdom Hearts title is specifically for the mobile phone, and of course it is designed like mobile phone games. So it's not 100% story focused, but then again, it is still a Kingdom Hearts title, and at the end of the day, if you have seen some of the lore that Union Cross has presented to us, especially within the start of this year and throughout last year, you guys should know that the story that is contained within this Kingdom Hearts title is pretty damn important. We already know that there is going to be a few different things from the lore of Union Cross that will also further connect to that of Kingdom Hearts 3. And I also want to put money on it that a lot of the lore that is contained in Union Cross and stuff to do with the Foretellers, the Dandelion Leaders, and the Master of Masters, I feel as if a lot of that stuff will eventually transition into the next saga or series for the Kingdom Hearts franchise. We already know that the Master of Masters isn't appearing in KH3, so I would say we'll learn a little bit more about him after number 3, but I just wish that story updates in Union Cross were just a little bit more frequent. They don't have to be like every single week sort of thing. That would be a little bit overkill. I understand that Square Enix, need as much time as they can to just focus on like the content side of Union Cross and not just the story side of it. But at least drop like something new to do with the story like every single month. Even story updates, not looking towards the important ones, but like the smaller ones that are just sort of world-focused story updates, like for Beast's Castle, Agrabah. Those are okay, and they do happen here and there. But I just feel as if those story missions are just absolutely filler. Like, yes, there is a small plot contained in those worlds when you're doing the mission, but for the most part, the only reason why those missions exist, I feel, is because they are filler that leads up to the main juicy parts of the story. So yeah, I would really love it if like the main story arc of Union Cross would just ramp up. It was really good last year. 2017 was insane with the whole introduction of Luari and Ventus, the new Dandelion leaders. We had a little bit of continuation towards the main plot of Union Cross at the start of this year, but really ever since then, it's been on the DL. Also, if you guys can hear some background sounds as of right now, it's because it's a really bad day where I am, so I do apologize about that. It's as grey as a witch's tit. Point number 3 would definitely have to be the microtransactions. This is a negative point that I always bring up towards Union Cross, and my god, it's something that I think will never change, and I think will be something that I will forever complain about. It really will be. But I definitely feel as if we're in a position now, especially with the introduction of PvP, which has been in the game for like, I believe 3 or 4 months now. Especially with the introduction of a PvP system, I definitely feel as if Union Cross leans more towards the pay-to-win side than really anything else. Now, before I get into this specifically, I do have to say kudos to Square Enix for introducing more means to get jewels. But even with methods of being able to just simply grind jewels out by playing the game itself, not actually spending your hard-earned cash on them, this still does not mean that within a week's space you're going to accumulate enough to do multiple pulls, in which you need to be able to do multiple pulls on multiple banners in order to get the medal that you want, in order to of course trade that medal, in order to eventually bring that medal up to 7 stars, which in itself can be a pretty damn hard task to do. 1 pull a week by just simply grinding out jewels by just playing the game, that's simply just not going to do it. And again, respect to Square Enix for introducing more means for like free to play, but it just still doesn't work because banners are based upon RNG. The whole Union Cross system is based upon RNG, and you are definitely not guaranteed to get the one medal that you want within 1 pull. Thank God that Square Enix have since introduced mercy pulling, or at least like a better version of mercy pulling. Now mercy pulls generally come with 5 pulls or 10 pulls, opposed to that of 15 and 20 like in the past. That was ridiculous. But I definitely feel as if the microtransaction system could at least be changed a little bit, definitely in the ways of the prices. I feel as if the prices of the jewel packs and stuff are just utterly ridiculous. I mean, I've talked about this time and time again, but the reason why this will never change is just simply because people continue to buy these packs. Regardless of whether we're complaining about it or not, I've spent probably hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on Union Cross, my god. And yet I still do complain about microtransactions and the prices of them, but I'm still buying them in the meantime. So I would definitely understand where Square is coming from. It's kind of like, why change up the prices really when people are buying them? And also quickly talking about PvP, like I was saying, Union Cross is kind of leaning towards the pay-to-win side, although PvP is not the main core experience of the game, and more so it's sort of a side little thing you can dabble in. If you do want to be one of the people to obtain draw tickets, especially the gold ones, which give you a higher chance of obtaining the fairies, in order to bring your tier 8s or tier 7s up to a 7-star. In order to achieve the gold draw ticket, I believe you need to be in like the top 1000 or top 500 in PvP for that PvP season. And that can be extremely hard to get into that placement, especially if you're a person that doesn't like to, you know, spend all of their weekly earnings on Union Cross jewels, man. You've got to have the best of the best in order to get into that ranking. So it's a little bit disappointing in that aspect, especially with the way that Square Enix have sort of handled how these draw tickets are distributed, with it mainly revolving around PvP and the fact that basically the stronger sort of just get stronger, essentially. This is definitely one aspect of the game that has rubbed me the wrong way to do with microtransactions and how they sort of connect to the PvP system. There's a few different things to do with Union Cross as to why I kind of step away from the game. I thought I'd explain it mainly because, yeah, it's just been a hot minute since I last uploaded any Union Cross stuff, and I know that there is a portion of you guys who watch my content who really do enjoy the Union Cross stuff. I know there were a few of you guys asking for more consistent news roundup videos to do with Union Cross, but honestly, when I'm just simply not really actively playing, which as of right now I'm not really, it's really hard to sit down and then start dipping into some content to do with it. And with that being said too, like, content drops really don't happen all that frequently with Union Cross. Of course, we're getting new banners and all that kind of stuff like every single week, but it's really just the same stuff. Granted, of course, we're getting different medals, but you know. I'm also talking about like major events, brand new content, stuff that's kind of like the sub-slot system that was introduced along with the PvP system, the 7-star system. That right there is what I call a major content drop, and those sort of things don't really happen all too often with Union Cross. Now, this is not the end of Union Cross for me. I know at some point I will end up dipping back into the game. I mean, at the end of the day, this is Kingdom Hearts. But I feel as if the next time that I will jump back into Union Cross is either in the next content drop, which will hopefully be soon, when the next major story update comes out with a decent amount of progression. Like, don't just give us 5 minutes of screen time where like one character has moved from one seat to another. No, show us some substance. Or when the Wreck-It Ralph world comes out, we don't know what this third brand new world that's never been in the Kingdom Hearts franchise ever before is, but we're pretty sure it's Wreck-It Ralph. So when any of those three things happen is when I will jump back into Union Cross. But for the time being, taking a little bit of a doozy break, putting my feet up from the game, and all that kind of good stuff. So that is my 4 major reasons as to why I've sort of kicked back from Union Cross. Sorry that I had to go so in-depth about this, but there were certainly a few pretty important things that I wanted to talk about in terms of why I'm not exactly playing this game. Definitely a few things that I would want to get addressed by Square Enix itself, but of course I don't personally run the game, and any kind of gripes that I have with the game itself, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm speaking for the rest of you guys. So in the comment section down below, let me know your current thoughts and feelings towards Union Cross. Are you still actively playing it? I would love to know. However guys, I'm Cynical. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stunning. Gold in my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crate, gaming up the bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.